Alrighty, slight difference in the show. We started off with 2 tunes this week. So that was the Broken Ravens with Dark Places, and then Minerva Wakes with Tell Me. Excellent couple of tunes there. Shouts to Traffic Cone Records as well for the second track. So, Craig is in the building right now.
I'm in the building.
You are in the building eventually. Which
£10
is good.
later.
£10 later. So, are you ready to podcast, Craig?
I am indeed, Stephen.
So, basically, a rerun from last week. It's
Yes, indeed.
basically everything that happened last week we're going to repeat. We're going to do the same news stories. We're going to have the same guest on that never turned up last week.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Hopefully this week will be a wee bit better.
Different music this time.
Different music.
No, I've got different news stories of this as well. But,
Good.
Aye, interesting. Last week was a bit of a fucking shambolic.
Aye.
Shambles.
So downside internet, innit?
Downside of live
Pat had
podcasting.
internet issues and sort of forgot.
Aye.
So that didn't happen.
Aye, there's one of these things you have to just deal with, and
Aye.
it's unfortunate, but fuck it, it's done.
This week he'll be here.
Fingers crossed.
No fingers crossed. We didn't need the fingers crossed because it's happening. And we're all positive on this podcast.
Always.
And even if it doesn't come, who cares? We'll talk shit
Yes, we will.
and we'll be positively entertaining. Oscar there's way more.
Interesting story of the fact that he's a bit of a fucking mutant.
Aye, but he's not going to talk about, oh, I'm a mutant.
Okay, at least ask.
No, he's not. He's not going to
And
talk
if he
about
leaves, that's like makes better podcasts.
because it's viral.
Because it goes
But then
viral.
what do you talk about for the next 55 minutes?
You talk about how much mutant that guy is.
That's a good point.
Or you could set it up.
You do talk about that. That's
Yes.
exactly what you talk about.
Or we could talk about it right afterwards, but we should have got Ross Flanders. There you go.
Aye, that's a good point.
Done. Perfect.
Aye, perfect. Let's get Tom Cruise on. Let's get a petition gone
Aye.
for Tom Cruise to come on the show and then be annoyed by us. Mm-hmm. And so
Annoyed
he
by us
leaves.
so much that it feels like, fuck it, I'm going to leave.
Aye,
I didn't like this.
that's ideal.
Aye.
That would get us the big time, I feel.
Because my first thing I would ask him, what got you into hip hop first? That's your first question.
How's COVID been treating you?
How's COVID been treating you? You been getting any gigs?
Aye.
And then I'll be like, right, so Scientology's mental, innit?
Aye.
What the fuck?
You're an intelligent man. Why are you an idiot?
No, I wouldn't even give him that fucking time of day.
You're a person. Why are you an idiot person?
You're in films and that. Why are you a mutant?
But surely he's had like some sort of education.
What? Education Scientology?
No. Education, as in like the school.
No.
Anybody that's been to school surely should ken like Scientology is about mental, innit?
I think so.
So he's obviously had some education.
Aye. Did you learn much about Scientology in school?
No,
I didn't. I certainly fucking didn't.
There again, I was never in RE.
There's another thing. Aye, there was a tickable class.
Aye.
It seemed like the teacher didn't give a fuck because she was always stoned. According to rumours, she was
Aye,
always
according to
stoned.
rumours, she was always constantly stoned. Aye.
There's a few people that
You
say
think you'd smell it?
you think so, but none of us ever did.
No. Which suggests that it's bullshit.
I totally suggest that.
Look, I'm not saying for a minute that she didn't go ahead and get stoned.
I love the fact that at school we thought, right, she looks a bit of a hippie. She lets us eat.
She's an art teacher.
She lets us eat sweeties at the school in her classes. Must smoke weed. Lead back.
She was an art teacher.
Major mental.
Every art teacher was a bit quirky.
She wasn't an art teacher, was she?
Aye, she was.
Miss P.
Aye.
I thought she just done RE.
No. You can't make a living just doing RE. Every RE teacher had to have a job.
Like P.
Mr. Feezer had to have a job as a history teacher.
I did it with him.
Aye,
thought
RE was
he
his
just
first
said it.
choice. But
Fuck me.
he had to back up with a history teacher. He was like, oh, no, I'm going to go to college to get a history.
RE's kind of history.
Aye, that's a fair point.
Kind of historic.
Well, she was in the art corridor.
But that's
She looked a bit arty.
So was fucking Mr. Scott, the computing guy. And Mr. Walker, the other computing guy. And the drama bit was also up there as well. For a short time, I got moved to the second floor.
Was it?
It was when I was there.
Drama was on in the drama building.
Fuck off.
When I was there, they had a
You had
building.
a drama building?
Aye, they did, aye.
Jesus. We had
It was music and drama, it was like the arts.
it like slowly moved for me. It was on the third floor for, I think it was first year. Then I moved into the second floor. I got his own like sort of department. It was like 2 rooms. Huge drama department in Buckine High School. 2 rooms. And then I got moved to the first floor, like near where the home ec stuff was.
Aye, that's where it was for me in first
That's where I
year.
was there. Eventually I ended up there because there were like larger classrooms. You could do a lot more in them.
Aye. But I did eventually move to like where there was 2 dining halls.
Aye.
There was the big one that was good, and there was the shite one.
Because I had the first year one, which is the one right at the back of the school.
Aye. You're talking about the one at the front. That's where the
Why were
classrooms up there were
Was it
music and
just
drama.
first years I went to the fucking big...
Well, and when I was there, it was 3rd and 4th years that went there.
Right.
But then once I got to 3rd and 4th year, they switched. So
Aye,
I was just always in.
aye.
I was always in that.
I always remember first years just being in the the bigger dining hall. But again, the second one like had 2 parts to it.
Did it?
Aye, basically the one like where the music bit is in PE, basically. That
Aye,
one.
aye.
And where the stage is, basically. I
Interesting.
like Ross, and they getting past that, but Tom Cruise hasn't. You felt like...
I was only ever there for like school trips and that. You waited there at the beginning,
Right.
for like
the front-
M&Ds.
front one.
When you were going to M&Ds,
Aye,
you
aye.
would sit there and wait for the bus, and then you would fuck off.
Again, we had like Wendy's fish van and stuff like that as well. So like
Well, they brought back.
most
They
unhealthy-
brought a van back, but it was just doing baguettes and that. It was just a baguette van.
That's still better than the school
but
stuff, is it?
You could also get baguettes at the dining hall.
Did you ever get the waffles?
I was never into waffles. They did sell
Right.
them though.
So they had like the sugar waffles.
That was a break time thing though.
Aye. They had the sugar waffles, but they had like crystallised bits of sugar inside them as well
Aye.
at certain parts, and lagered to fuck
Aye.
in syrup. The most delicious shit ever. Sausage rolls were fucking dynamite. Absolute fucking dino sausage rolls, man.
Sausage rolls,
Sausage rolls at dinner time, aye.
as in a sausage on a roll,
No, sausage rolls.
or a sausage roll.
A sausage roll, a roll of sausage and pastry.
Oh, we never got them.
You never got sausage rolls and pies and stuff like that?
No,
Bastard.
can't mind it.
We just got
I
that.
definitely can't mind the sausage rolls.
Right.
There might have been pies.
That shit was dino. Everybody used to go for that shit. Because you would go in, get your sausage rolls and
Of
fuck
course.
off outside.
When I was there, that was them starting to wean off good food
That's why we were off
and
that.
back onto shit. Because in first year, I was able to buy like a bottle of Iron Brew at the canteen bit.
And you were never able to do that again?
No in third, fourth, no in second,
fuck?
third, fourth year.
They got rid of tinned juice? Or just like
Bottles of juice.
Coca and brew shit like that?
They got rid of fizzy drinks. Then after that,
God.
it was just water or a Lucozade Sport. So
Jesus
obviously,
fucking Christ.
everybody was super healthy on the Lucozade Sport,
Oh,
which
aye.
was purely just water sugar.
Aye, basically. Horrible bastards, man.
It wasn't much better than the fizzy drinks. I don't know why they bothered.
I just remember the primary school got a vending machine as soon as I left.
Oh, that
that
was
pissed
there.
me right off.
That's mental, eh? That a primary school had a vending machine.
Aye. Because they done like the sort of cold drinks and stuff. You said later on they stopped doing...
They got rid of it when I was there.
they got rid of it because somebody got burnt by like, a tea or something like
Oh.
that. Or, nah. What was it?
No, that was high school.
Is that high school? Right, I got mixed
They got rid of it because it was... First of all, they started not being allowed to give you change at the office
Right.
for it. So if you didn't have the money, you just didn't get it. Which I thought was a bit shitty.
Aye.
But that was the first way of trying to wean people away from it, was that you're not allowed to go to the office for change for the tin
Right,
machine.
right. Fuck. Right.
So that was the first part. And the second part was they just binned it. Or probably sold it.
Aye.
I guess they didn't bin it. But
I just remember it being there because you used to be able to book the hall for like playing football and stuff. Me and Chris would always book it. I think one time we went up with you and...
I was raging
Conan
one
and
day
stuff like that,
because I forgot the skills were off. And it turned out you didn't mean you'd booked the school. You meant we were just going to play at the pitches at the back of the school.
On the field, aye.
Aye, I was raging that day because we didn't take any juice with us.
Oh shit.
We thought we were going to get juice for the vending machine. I think you also forgot that
Possibly.
the school was shut.
Bastard.
How did we go into this?
I have no fucking idea, actually.
Aye.
No idea. It happens now and again.
Aye.
Happens now and again.
Well, at one point, they sort of gave up on the try to keep us healthy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the morning, they used to have, temporarily, they had like a hot drinks machine that had like hot chocolate and coffee and that. So the morning routine, mind, but this is when I was mint it, and they had the cards when they had the cards in, so I was getting money daily.
Okay.
I would go in and I would get my
money.
toast and chocolate spread.
Oh, boom.
And either a hot chocolate or a coffee.
Right.
And then at break time I would get a black pudding roll.
Okay.
And then at dinner time I would get, I don't know, pizza or probably a baguette, something like that.
Oh.
And then that was my day. I was fucking stuffed.
You would be. That's a ton of fucking bullshit. Just eating tons and tons of bollocks.
Just because I had money.
Fucking right, man. It's awesome.
Pretty dope. Been half scale loads of times.
Aye, because you were never there, and like high school, I missed mistake because I just never went.
Aye.
So we kind of both fucked our schooling up.
Aye, we did.
Completely.
Aye. So we're both idiots now.
Absolutely.
We should turn to Scientology.
I wish I went back though. Like with this experience I've gained through life,
So you think you'd be much better at skill now?
I could be much better at skill now.
Would you be smarter?
I would still be a loser, but I think I would have sort of stuck in a wee bit better.
Aye, you've not got the fear of, oh, you're a gimp. Because
Oh yeah, because I didn't give a fuck about that anymore.
I was once called gay because I liked history, which
And
even then didn't make any sense.
It's stupid. And gay for like in drama and stuff like that. I bet you got that.
I got that a lot because I done drama.
I got that as well. Anytime because people would like be at tech.
Although
or something like that
things were starting to change, it was like the cooler ones that were doing drama at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The cooler ones were either doing football or they were doing drama. So it was starting to shift already. Nobody done techie. The dickheads done techie.
I done techie and drama.
Oh, you're a dickhead.
I'm like a gay joiner. Would have been at the time. But I love drama, man. I thought it was fucking great. I used to spend a lot of time on like, you would do like improvised scenes and stuff like that, or sometimes you'd try to script something, but then you'd end up improvising anyway. And then if you found someone funny, like when you're rehearsing and stuff like that, you would like keep it in for like the main thing when it gets filmed and stuff. So I would always go along the way, like getting a fright when somebody opens a door and like throwing a pencil across the fucking room or something like that, or like just fawn or something like that. Just doing something.
Oh God, you were one of them.
Like an absolute Lee Evans.
Oh, you're a dickhead.
I was a big Lee Evans fan at the time.
Epic proportion of dickhead.
Basically, aye. Oh, what did you do? Like, did you have fucking scripted fucking
No, I was homophobic.
performance? You just done the
gay thing.
Again, it was the 2000s, man. This was a big thing.
Being gay was funny.
Watching Still Game, by the way. I was going through Still Game, and holy shit, all the homophobia all the way
There's
through.
There's a lot of poof and woofter and stuff like
absolutely,
that.
completely, all the way through it. Especially the first two seasons, it's crazy.
You sort of need to take it in the context of what it is.
In the context of that time.
Well, I was watching Darren Speaks, Loki's podcast.
Oh, aye.
It's not, it is a podcast, but it's not like what I've came to recognise as a podcast where it's two people sitting down and they have a conversation. It's Loki talking, so it's, to me, I'm going to start getting into that again. Because I've got myself so used to... No, I didn't, because it's that. I'm so used to listening to a conversation now that I can't... Anyway, so I was listening to that and he was talking about how he and his wife sit down to watch Friends sort of once a year. They just go through it again. And he was like, there's quite an intense amount of like homophobia and like things that totally wouldn't be accepted now.
No.
Like the fact that Joey's totally creepy and misogynistic and so pretty much all of them are.
Aye.
And the homophobia and the transphobia with Chandler's dad or mum.
Again, it's like they're no bad people, and they're not like against anything sort of thing.
No.
When they do meet gay people, they're totally fine with the guys being gay. But it's like, but I'm no gay.
It's sort of
thing.
It's sort of. I'm not going to name the person who said it, but it's sort of a situation of they're not homophobic, and they'll if they heard like actual malicious homophobia, they would probably talk against it. But they'll say, non-gay things are normal. Like that sort of. It's it's not malicious, but it's just like, whoa.
Aye.
That's a bit.
There's a whole way. Have you ever seen Seinfeld?
No.
I didn't think you had. Yeah.
Is that entirely what Seinfeld is like?
No, it's based on like awkwardness and stuff a lot of the time. But again, same way, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is like the best program ever on TV.
That is quite funny. Actually.
It's fucking awesome. But Seinfeld, there's a whole episode where there's like I can't remember exactly what happens on it, but something about gayness happens, and they keep saying not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I find
like,
myself
every fucking 5 minutes or someone's like, not that there's anything wrong with that.
I find myself saying that a lot.
Aye.
Because I'll mention the fact that if somebody's gay, and if I mention it, I'll go, well, there's nothing wrong with that. But it is.
Aye.
And I'm like, you didn't need to say that. No, because you've said that. It sounds
makes it look like you're like trying to date someone. Like,
whereas if you just said gay,
aye,
it would have been fine. But if you said gay and then gone, there's nothing wrong with being gay, I'm just saying it is.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
You've suddenly made it a thing. There was needed to make it a thing.
It's the same when you mention like a sort of racial stereotype in some sense of the word. You're always like, no, I think that. And you're like, well, obviously you do. Some way. Or you're just worried in case people think that you think that sort of thing.
Or like mistaken the conversation.
Aye.
Like if they've heard it in the background somewhere.
Aye.
They've not properly listened. There's always that possibility of something happening.
Oh fuck aye.
Especially with, like the content like ours, because we talk about a lot of things that are no controversial, but
no, really.
Like
I think
you know what I mean though. Like we talk about a lot of things that have a lot of aspects that people could take offence from. Definitely.
I think when we first started, I think we went down the line of like, we'll just say offensive stuff and then see how it goes. And then eventually we sort of figured out that it's a bit pointless, isn't it? When you've
it's not very funny.
What exactly? We started off like talking about, I think it was the deep web and like paedophilia on the deep web and stuff like that. But we're really trying to get forward like fucking like jokes about paedophilia and stuff like that, which didn't work.
No. There needs to be really good context there.
Needs to be context behind it. And I think we went down that route of just trying to be like dark comedy sort of stuff. But we've eventually figured out that isn't really for us.
Not that funny.
We could maybe say something now and again that's like a bit dark. Like, again, jokes about like people dying and stuff like that. Like, we do that stuff all the time.
We made jokes about our mum dying.
Exactly. We've done a whole fucking podcast about it. But again, we've sort of steered clear of the jokes for joke's sake sort of thing. We do have a bit of context behind what we're saying sometimes.
Or try to.
Or at least try to. That's just one of the things. But
I reckon I'll be going to that.
I have no fucking idea.
Time for partner.
I think it nearly is, but he's not on the fucking Zoom.
You know?
No, he's. I told him last time to be here before 6:30, but
he said he'll be on at 6:30.
6:30.
So you got a news story? Did I just do a news story?
We'll do a news story. Dunfermline Schoolboy got a bottle of a tin of iron brew recently.
Oh,
imagine that!
Wow,
local news.
There better be more of this story.
Local news story. Man slips in the rain. Basically,
there's really better be more of this story.
There is a lot more to the story.
Right, good.
He opened it. You with me? You still with me on the story?
You started
to had a tin of iron brew. He opened it, and it was clear on the inside.
What was the
first time it's ever happened? The iron brew. It was clear iron brew when he poured it in the glass. It was clear.
Oh, is that?
That's it.
So what caused it to be clear?
I have no. It was some fuck up, but
what shitty journalists? They've not explained.
I'll go to it. I'll try to find it. It's basically what the iron brew manufacturer AG Bar described their can as 1 in a million. They must have made a fuck up somewhere. But
1 in a million? But that's not how manufacturing works, is it?
What?
Like, surely for that to happen, but they're done in like packs. Mm-hmm. They're done in huge quantities. So how basically, does it manage to miss one?
It just must have been like maybe like the syrup thing had finished, and they were on the next tin,
and they
just forgot to like attach the syrup.
Didn't notice
because they've got the syrupy taste, the iron brew flavour, but nay.
It'll be artificial colouring though, won't it? And
That's what I'm thinking.
Although, do they not claim that there's no artificial?
I think so, aye.
Or is
But
it
again,
sweeteners?
artificial colouring just means that like it's a fake
Colour.
synthesised colour sort of thing. So if you just add a colour, which isn't a synthesised colour, like a natural colouring, it doesn't. It means it's a non-manufactured
That makes sense.
sort of thing. So it's just one of the things. So I thought it was a wee bit interesting story.
There was
the Dunfermline. We guy for the wee Fife man for Dunfermline.
How do they ken?
What?
Has he phoned the Dunfermline press?
I think so. I
Right.
think that's what happened.
So there's no way to prove that then.
That's usually all the things that happen. Well, I think they went to the house.
Did the journalist taste it?
Although there is a picture on there with like a glass with clear juice in it. It could be just like lemonade or
Aye.
something.
Did the journalist taste this juice?
I don't think so.
Right. So we didn't ken, do we?
No, we didn't really.
Especially with the Rona.
Aye.
You can't go about tasting it 'cause it's juice.
Bungling burglar who left name and address at crime scene.
Matthew Bryan.
Same guy. No, this is he went to
Should we cut his name out there? Oh no, it was in the paper.
it was in the paper.
Aye, fuck it.
Malcolm Pike, 43, broke into a garage again, in Sunderland and stole £150 of cleaning equipment. I don't know why it was cleaning equipment specifically. But in the sort of kerfuffle to get out,
Faffle.
he left a bag full of letters to his own address.
What was on the road with letters?
He just must have had loads of letters in his bag or something like that. Or like went to pick them up for somebody's house. His house.
Via his robbery.
Via robbery. So he left the bag sitting there. And the police quickly went out to find all the stolen equipment had been left outside. He must have got back, figured he couldn't get in.
For fuck's sake.
It's incredible. Fucking incredible.
What a fucking... How old is he?
43.
Jesus Christ.
You think he'd be a bit smarter than...
Well, he's clearly not a career criminal.
Nah. It seems like he just needed to get his kid clean. That's the only reason I can
How
think
much
of
is
him.
like bleach in that though? Like it's like 20... Like, to get all this stuff you need to clean your house.
£3 for like a big 2 litres.
For all you need to clean your house, it's about a tenner.
I would say, yeah.
Like, for all brand new bottles.
Maybe he's starting a cleaning business. Where he cleans
It's not a
loads
good start, is it?
No.
If your start of your cleaning business involves robbery of a garage.
It's not the best start.
What do they
That's
mean
a
by
start.
garage? Like a car garage, or do they mean like somebody's garage?
Like a garage, like a fucking, the garage, like the mafia nicked for.
Alright.
Something like that. Same thing. Crazy.
Mutants.
Fucking mutantes.
So I was watching Donald Trump's rally in, I think it was Iowa last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me. What?
Cool. That's part. I'm just saying.
Is that part there?
Aye, well, fuck it. Well, hurry up. What you're
It's
saying.
alright. Fuck my story. That was just...
Right, we're going to get into a tune. We'll come back and we'll be with Pat, who's on line right now. Here we go. This is Carla G. Easton and Honeyblood with Weirdo.
Cause I am
That was Carla J. Easton and Honeyblood with a Weirdo. So I was going to say talking of weird, but I should never ever do that. That's a fucking terrible thing to do. On the line right now, we should have Pat Lee. How are you doing, Pat?
Very well, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So, Craig, you want to give Pat a wee introduction and tell people what we're going to be talking about here?
Aye. So, actually, I'll let Pat do his introduction. So, obviously, I know who Pat is, and I would imagine that most people in the sort of the active independence movement would know who Pat is. But Pat, if you want to sort of introduce yourself, just for folk that don't know.
Yeah, by all means. I'm Pat Lee. I'm one of the former organisers of the BBC Bias protests. I'm a former South Lanarkshire councillor, and I have attempted to bring the Yes movement a voice in Parliament through Action for Independence, formerly known as the Alliance for Independence. So if that helps.
Fantastic. So we got you on specifically to talk about the Action for Independence thing. Do you want to go on a wee bit about why we should vote for AFI?
Well, the concept is bringing all smaller pro-independence parties together under, as I said in 2014, all under one umbrella up at the stage on Hope Over Fear in Freedom Square. Yeah. We, as a Yes movement, knew how to form a campaign for the activists, and we were very successful in that, up to the point that we had 51% a week before the referendum. And I thought the politicians can do the political side of the campaign for Yes, but we in the grassroots can do the grassroots side of it. So since then, we've obviously had Brexit, yep. We've had Evil, we've had the SNP returned on numerous mandates, and many people were talking about a list-only party. So they were talking the talk. No one was walking the walk. So after the general election in December there, with bumbling Boris receiving his 80-seat majority, I thought, let's see if we have interest in coming together as one. And I put a post up 2 weeks before Christmas, calling for any interested parties to join us for a meeting. And I went away for a week in January, and when I come back, that would be 3 weeks. We had 1,500 members on the page. So we then called a meeting in Glasgow, in St Stephen's Hall in Glasgow, and we were fortunate enough to have 64 representatives of 30 plus Yes groups. And from that meeting, the Alliance for Independence was born, and we created a steering group to bring the Alliance together. And it's from all walks of the political spectrum. We have selected our interim leader, because we expect to hold a conference in some form prior to the Holyrood elections. Yep. We have an interim leader, Dave Thompson, a former SNP MSP and a 55-year stalwart of the SNP, who, unknown to me at the time, he had been working on this concept for at least 2 years, along with others in the Highlands. I think it was the Yes Alliance or the I Alliance in the Highlands.
Was that with Steve Arnott?
Steve Arnott and Dave and others in the Highlands.
Right.
So they contacted me, and we had a chat, and they attended the meeting. And from that, we created the steering group. We contacted the Electoral Commission. We met with them to discuss our concept and ensure that we were able to put in place a mechanism whereby any pro-independence activist, any pro-independence political party, and any pro-independence individual could join AFI and stand in the Parliament in the list only. Because we reckon if we as one, a yes movement, act as one, we can deliver the SNP their absolute majority in 2021 at the constituency level alone. Because I don't know if all of your listeners actually understand the D'Hondt system. The more successful a party is in the constituency, then they are penalised when it comes to votes cast in the regional list seat. So the SNP picked up 59 seats in the constituency and 4 seats in the list in 2016. 2015. Was it 2015 or 2016? 2016.
Yep.
And they only picked up that 4 seats. They picked up that 4 seats from 953,000 votes cast for them in the 8 regions. So in 6 of the 8 regions, they did not pick up a list seat. I stood in Central in 2016, and the SNP picked up 130,000 votes in Central alone. Yet we have 7 unionist seats in Central. So to make the list, the regional list vote of value, it requires a party to stand only in the list. It then returns 100% value of that vote cast. So the Alliance, it's not a normal party as such. It's not a traditional party concept. We're here to help the Yes movement deliver independence. But when we politicise the debate, we dilute the message. The cause is independence. It's not about our politics, it's about our cause. So we can use the Alliance or the Action for Indy as it can be used to create a super majority at the expense of the Tories, Labour and Lib Dem seat warmers, as I call them. We have simply one strong policy, and that is independence. And we commit to keeping the Indy government in power to deliver that independence.
So I guess that would be the argument of why. I mean, because this has been tried before, obviously in 2016 in Solidarity. It was the first time I voted for Solidarity. It was based on the fact that they argued for a vote for the SNP and then a vote for Solidarity on the list. So this is a concept that's been going about for a while, but this time it seems to have picking up a lot more steam than last time. It's been taken a lot more seriously.
Because we're not being political about it.
Yeah.
We're saying, let us come together. The smaller parties, they have a following. But the Yes movement is bigger than any party.
Yeah.
And we're saying direct your concentration to the list seats and delivering the SNP at the constituency. The polling so far shows that they are expected to pick up somewhere in the region of 65 to 73 seats, but possibly 69. And if they do that, then any vote cast in the list is going to have up to 10 times dilution.
Yeah.
So that 130,000 votes that were cast in 2016, its actual value when it came to allocating the additional member seats was 12,900. And the last Tory elected to the list in Central got in with 14,400. So at no point, the SNP would have to, it could be done if all voters voted for the SNP. And that would mean they would have to increase their vote by tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not likely to happen. But if the SNP pick up, as we predict, the majority in the constituency alone, we want to stand in the list to make that vote of value to the yes movement.
Nice.
So, I'll let you come in there.
Okay. So, I guess that there's been the main argument against it that I've seen lately has been the Greens, of using the Greens as the second party, as the list party. But I guess you sort of already answered that by saying that, I mean, you have one platform of independence. The candidates that stand for Action for Independence can basically say, as long as they're pro-independence, they have their own platform, whereas the Greens have a specific platform, and that's harder to bring people in. So, to simplify it seems that you're going for the big tent approach of everyone could be theirself and also advocate for the single thing, which brings everyone in and doesn't exclude anybody.
Yeah, it's a welcoming body for all of the yes movement. When we started this, it was not about taking the Greens vote or Solidarity's vote or SSP's vote. It wasn't based on that. It was giving the yes vote a platform. Because if we are successful in what we're trying to attempt to do here, 1/8 of the yes vote, and I don't call it the SNP vote, I call it the yes vote, specifically because not everybody that votes SNP is an SNP member. So I distinctly call it the yes vote. So if we pick up 1/8 of that yes vote, remember that's votes cast only for the SNP in 2016. Now, the polling suggests the vote cast for the SNP is going to be greater. Therefore, the loss is going to be greater too, because they'll pick up more seats, which means with the DeHont system, the amended DeHont system, each and every vote cast will be penalised in the list seat. But 1/8 of the yes vote will give us 8 seats. That's 8 pro-independence MSPs in the Parliament, speaking on behalf of the whole of the yes movement. 1/4 of that vote will give us 16 seats, and 1/2 of that vote will give us 24, up to 24 seats. So it's there. The vote is available, but it is not productive if it's cast SNP 1 and 2. Because if we as a movement act in unison, we deliver the SNP possibly the 73 constituency seats. That will be detrimental to their regional list additional member seats, and they won't pick up any. That's my view. And the figures speak for themselves. You only have to look at 2011, where the SNP had an actual majority, and they got that actual majority from the list because they did not pick up any enough constituency seats. And then you see the change. The more support in the constituency for the SNP, the less successful they were in the regional list seat. So we're saying, let's bind ourselves together. Let's tie our ropes, as Tommy says. And funnily enough, before I called the meeting to try and bring this together, I spoke to Tommy, and he says, Pat, it'll be like herding sheep. And it was very true. It was like herding sheep. But as soon as we called the meeting and held the meeting, then there was a definite appetite to take it forward. And from that, we've created Action for Independence. And we're hoping within the next month or 6 weeks that we'll have Electoral Commission recognition. The Electoral Commission have agreed the concept that so long as anyone standing in the 2021 election standing under the umbrella of Action for Independence, they describe themselves as a candidate of Action for Independence, they can maintain their own political philosophies and ideologies. And the only thing we ask them to do, 3 things, is 1, support Indirect 2, with or without a Section 30, support the Scottish Government to deliver that Indirect 2, and then support the Scottish Government through the negotiations to Independence Day. Everything else is based on their political beliefs and political ideals. We are trying to take the politics out of the independence question.
That's always appealed to me because there's a lot of suspicion with things like this, especially when it comes to big tent politics, where it's a lot of people from a lot of different political views. Even though the party itself is not putting forward a political opinion beyond independence, there's a lot of different political views within it, or there will be, and that brings suspicion to people. There'll be people saying, I'm not voting for that specific candidate because that person's too right-wing, or I'm not voting for that candidate because that person's too left-wing. Whereas you need to be more rational about it. You need to accept that, okay, this person's a bit more left-wing than I am, but I'm going to vote for them because the person on the top of this list is more right-wing, and I'm hoping that people are going to vote for them, so that we all have some sort of representation, as opposed to voting purely on a selfish basis.
Well, no country has ever gained its independence by being factional within their own movement. We are all on the same road. We're all on the same course. We're simply taking different routes to it. We need a unifying concept, and this is what the Action for Independence is attempting to do. We can never win when we look at personalities or we look at politics. Independence is a goal, is a cause, and it can be achieved, but only if we come together. And the first meeting I held, I says, leave our politics at the door. Let's concentrate on independence and delivering independence. If we act as one, this can happen. This can happen. So we're not asking anybody to drop their banner, to drop their politics. And it would be a beneficial thing to the Scottish Parliament, because it would increase the diversity within the Parliament.
Yeah.
You know, it's a win-win situation. And then everybody's voice can be heard in the Parliament.
For me, I can't see a downside to this. But I am going to ask a question, because this is a question that I've come up against. And I'm purely curious on how you answer it. The biggest criticism I've had in my discussions with people, generally SNP, is that what if the polls are wrong and the SNP doesn't gain as much as they managed to gain in 2016? In which case...
Well, carry on.
In which case, our list vote, and if also I would need to say that we didn't get as much votes in AFI as we wanted to, but the SNP still lost votes. So it requires two different things to happen at the same time, which is hard, but let's just play a game.
Well,
what happens in that situation?
Well, we have to be realistic. We are in a political quandary being in the UK. We have bumbling Boris and his cohorts in Westminster ignoring everything that the SNP put forward since 2014. Absolutely ignoring it. Creating second-class MPs, breaching the Treaty of the Union, and they seem as if they are unable to stop themselves falling off the edge of a cliff with Brexit. Are we realistically saying that the support for the SNP and the support for independence is going to diminish in this environment?
Mm.
And if we can get 250,000 people out in the streets in Edinburgh, we have a massive army to mobilise for the Scottish parliamentary elections in 2021. Are we honestly saying that will fall between now and then? Because that would be what would have to take place. We would have to see an absolute demolition of the SNP.
It's a monumental shift that I can't see.
Sorry?
It's a monumental shift that I can't see happening.
No. I mean, we have to be realistic. Since 2011, 2007, support for SNP has been on an upward trajectory constantly. It hasn't diminished in any way, and it is only growing. Now, what we are saying is, let us come together. We have been diverted from our cause in every argument. The day we concentrate on our cause, which is independence, the yes movement, and the polls just came out yesterday, was it? 58%?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
We totally reversed the 2014 result, and we're now outstretching it.
Mm.
It would be ludicrous to even contemplate that we cannot, as a single unit, maintain and improve on that 58%. Because Westminster is doing everything it possibly can to send support our way.
A thing that I've always said as well is that in 2014, the entire backbone of the argument was don't just settle for the status quo, try something else. And in 2021, that's the argument, and for me at least, that's the argument that I'm trying to make, is that the status quo right now is that the SNP runs the government and then we try and wait for another independence referendum. What we're suggesting is we don't wait for the status quo, we try something else, we get a list vote that actually means something as opposed to wasting 100,000 votes or whatever. And that's something else that'll improve our chances of our next independence referendum. And people in the SNP that made the same argument that I was making in 2014 are falling for that exact same thing in 2021. They just wanted a safe vote and don't want to try anything different or radical. And to me, that I can't sit by and watch that.
The question I would ask is, what is safer than unity?
Yeah.
Let's seriously put our politics to the side. Our politics will change the day we have independence. On day one, nothing changes other than the ability to change everything. And the voting system definitely requires to be changed. But we must, if we're going to achieve independence, then we must come together. And there has not been a platform to allow that to happen until now. Action for Independence doesn't ask you to drop your politics. It simply asks you to commit to Indy Ref 2, to commit to support the SNP government to deliver NDRF 2, or a yes government, or a pro-independence government, whatever. And it asks you to commit to support that Scottish government in negotiations with Westminster, with less unionists in Holyrood while we negotiate, because make no doubt about it, when we are negotiating independence and we have unionist voices in our parliament, they will do as they have done since 1999, and they will talk Scotland down. Why not take the opportunity that we have to unify and deliver up to and more 24 pro-independence voices in the parliament and 24 less pro-unionist voices in that parliament? It's not rocket science. It simply needs the yes movement to come together, and it can be delivered.
Absolutely. So, if anybody's listening and wants to get involved with AFI, how do they do that?
Well, we have a Facebook page. We're in the process. Our website should be up and running quite soon, and we will be putting out some membership applications on that website. But in the meantime, we have our Facebook page, Action for Independence, #MaxTheYes. And that's the strategy here. Let us use our votes, because we cast them. Mm-hmm. We cast them, and we want to entice all of those who didn't turn out in 2016. We want them to come back and make this an outright, absolute pro-independence majority, holding anything up to 110 seats in that parliament. And then there is the undeniable support in that parliament, not just over 50% of the MSPs, but over 50% of the vote. Mm. And that's what the SNP or the Westminster government holds against the SNP, is that since 2015 they have been unable to command over 50% of the electorate. This is a mechanism and a vehicle that can deliver 50+%, and I'm seriously thinking 60+%. And in yesterday's national, if we can confirm the benefits of independence for the Scottish people, then up to 75% are pro-independent, would vote for independence.
And you've got a conference lined up at some point, did you say?
We're in the process of organising a conference. It'll probably be by Zoom.
Yeah.
Possibly a number of meetings. We haven't finalised how we're going to hold it, but we want to access as much of the yes movement as we possibly can. Yeah.
Obviously, that's been made difficult.
Sorry?
I was just saying that's been made difficult by COVID.
Yeah. Prior to COVID, prior to lockdown, in the 13th of March, 23rd. No, we were the 13th of March, were we?
I think 23rd.
23rd of March.
Yeah, because it was my birthday just the week before.
Yeah. Between February and the 23rd of March, we held a number of very positive yes meetings to explain the concept of the Alliance for Independence, now known as Action for Independence, around the country, and they were received very well. We have a die-hard SNP 1 and 2s, but you cannot argue with the numbers. The numbers stated that 953,000 people voted for the SNP in 2016, and it only received 4 seats, whereby 500,000 were cast for the Tories, and they got 31, was it?
Something like that.
31
That's some
seats.
ridiculous high number.
And 500,000 more were cast for Labour, and they got 24 seats. 500,000 votes cast for the Alliance for or Action for Independence will give us those 24 seats, and we can remove as many of those pro-unionist voices from our parliament, and we can be sitting in that parliament speaking up for Scotland. It's just a no-brainer. We have the ability to increase the pro-independence voice and give a direct voice to the yes movement on an apolitical spectrum and remove the unionists. Who wouldn't like that?
Yeah, exactly. I can't understand anybody on the opposite end of this argument. I really can't. It would have been quite easy for me to come on and just talk rubbish for every week about this concept, but I felt like it was only fair to get one of the founders of the organisation. Is it technically a political party, or is it an organisation?
Yes, we are a fully constituted political party.
Okay.
Because we have to be. We have to be to stand and meet Electoral Commission regulation.
Right.
So we have a fully constituted. We have a full constitution. We have the office bearers in place interim until we actually hold our national conference.
Right. Yeah.
And we would like all factions within the Yes movement to come together and create the Action for Independence direction to the next Scottish parliamentary elections. Everybody has a voice, everybody has a say, and we would plead for the whole of the Yes movement to come together as one.
I have noticed in Fife, where we're from, that there's been a couple of good sign-ups to Action for Independence with Mark Keating's joining up lately.
Yeah, Martin deliberated.
Yeah.
Martin, for anybody listening that doesn't know who Martin Keating is, Martin Keating is taking the UK government to court right at this minute for the People's Action on Section 30 to decide whether it's in the competence of the Scottish Parliament to hold a referendum.
Yeah.
We know it is, but we wish to have, or Martin, and we, because I support Martin 100% on this, Martin hopefully will have a decision on that soon. So it's the People's Action, it's on Crowd Justice, is it?
I think so.
Fundraiser. Or on Martin J. Keating's page, you'll get an update on that. But Martin considered standing as an independent, and then we spoke to him with the concept that we could pool our resources. Martin, if he was standing on his own, would have to find the finance and find the manpower to campaign. That's another plus on Action for Independence, is that we pool our resources, especially with the smaller parties. They would be having to find the finances, having to find the manpower to campaign up to election day. We can do that together, and it's a plus. It's a win-win for the smaller pro-independence parties, and it's a win-win for the Yes movement.
Fantastic. Have you got any extra questions, Stephen?
I'm fine there, man.
Well, if there's anything else you want to promote, anything else you want to talk about?
Myself?
Yeah, you're welcome to talk about whatever you want.
I would just like anybody who is interested to come along to the Action for Independence Facebook page. If you want to get involved, we have already teams set up in all of the 8 regions, and we're looking to organise our campaign soon after conference. We had hoped to have it by now, but obviously in the situation that we're in, we're unable. So that will be in the next 6-8 weeks, I would think.
Right.
Hopefully before Christmas. But even if it goes after Christmas, we don't have the election until May.
Yeah.
We have plenty of time. We have opened up the debate, and you were quite negative about 2016, Craig. Let me just lift you a wee bit. When we tried this as Solidarity back in 2016, because it was politicised, it was a politics. We had 90% negativity. We at this point, I would say we have 50% positivity on this.
Yeah, there's a definite shift. I have noticed that myself.
It's a markedly different scenario. Many people are looking, and if I could suggest anybody wondering about the voting system, if you go into YouTube and type in "Dehont System Explained," it's a very good video, and very clearly explains how the Dehont system works. And for it not to, for this whole concept not to work, and the SNP not to pick up the majority at constituency level, it would have to be an unmitigated disaster in the next 5 months.
We'll put that video in the description as well.
I'm just looking for it now. Is it Dehont, like D
apostrophe HONDT?
That's fine.
D apostrophe HONTE.
Okay.
Explained. Dehont System Explained.
Perfect. I think I found it there. I'll add that in.
It's a grey background, is it?
Yes,
it is. Graham Patty.
Graham Patty, that's it. Graham Patty.
I did a really good video.
Graham done that himself. Graham did that himself. He wasn't asked to do it. But it's a very precise, very clear explanation of how the voting system for the additional members in Holyrood actually works.
Awesome. I'll throw that in the description. Right now.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Pat.
Thank you for the invitation. It's been a pleasure.
And hopefully we'll do well next year.
Well, if we come together as one, and I cannot emphasise this enough. We are not a traditional party, and we are not asking other traditional parties to drop their banner. We are saying commit to NDRF2, commit to supporting the Scottish Government to deliver NDRF2, and commit to support the Scottish Government in any future negotiations towards Independence Day. That is the only concept we at Action for Independence have, and if we come together as one, we will do it.
Well, again, Pat, thanks very much for coming on. We'll probably speak to you again at some point. We'll always have guests on multiple times, so.
No problem. I'll make myself available to come on and speak with you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
It'll be good to get you on for like a guest podcast. I think we spoke about this before.
Proper in-depth
chat about like your history and stuff like that. That'd be cool.
If any of your listeners would be interested, I'd be happy.
To be fair, we've had Jock Penman on. So.
Yeah.
He's a very interesting guy.
he keeps telling us that. He does keep saying
that. Aye.
Thank you very much, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
No problem at all. Thanks very much, Pat.
Cheery bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Excellent. That was Pat Lee.
I said cheery bye there again.
See, you did. I said bye-bye.
I'm very much a prick.
Cheery bye and bye-bye. It's kind of like the worst two things to...
See, again, I say this a lot of the time, but when I'm doing interviews, I'm fine during the interview. I'm awkward ending the interview.
It's always a horrible thing.
I don't know how to end interviews. That's why I asked you to end for me.
It's going to be great in future, like if we do get like a video podcast on.
Aye.
Because you're going to see like Craig sort of looking
I
towards
reckon
me.
how to end.
You end the podcast, please. How do you do it? It's great. So we talked briefly there about the ongoing global bastard, which is COVID-19.
Alright, is there a news story like?
There's it's just a quick update. I don't know if you've seen it already. But it's 18,980 today, case-wise, and deaths are at 138.
It was 141 yesterday or something.
140 odds yesterday, aye.
So it is in the hundreds now.
And it's
consistently in the hundreds.
It's consistently in the hundreds, aye. Horrific, man. Horrific. Again, I'll put the hunt system up thing in the description, and I'll put up a link to... Or they've not got a website, but I'll put their Facebook up at least. I'll put their Facebook up.
Aye.
I think they've got a Twitter as well, I found earlier on, so I'll add both of them up. Fucking awesome. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we go?
No, really.
Just peace, love and biscuits.
Peace, love and biscuits.
Love a biscuit. Love a fucking Bourbon cream though.
Okay, what I fucking love?
Have I just...
The Lotus Biscoff.
The Biscoff biscuits.
Oh, mate.
Incredible.
Mate.
Because they're caramel based biscuity stuff.
They are. They're fucking delicious.
Because I always thought, because when I seen the fact you ordered Biscoff stuff, I thought you'd ordered the spread.
Aye, so did I.
And I'd never had the biscuits before. Didn't expect the biscuits to be good, even though I knew the spread was awesome. And it's just basically crushed, I imagine, biscuits, crushed Biscoff.
Aye.
Didn't expect them.
But the biscuit with the caramel would be...
Oh,
God.
Orgasmic.
Oh,
Fully.
mate.
Unbelievable.
Mate, that would have been... Oh.
Yes. I better get off the air before Craig comes everywhere. So we're going to end with this tune. This is the Snuts with a track called Always.
My sweetest syncopation, I put your mind at ease. I got you where I want you, no way that I could leave. And I always want you. Came to the dark conclusion that now just ain't my time. I save you all that sunlight till the world is mine. And I always want you. And I'm
Seeds of doubt have grown